Hello and welcome! I'm Shay and today's video is about measuring leg and foot. Drawing legs isn't so bad, but I used to think of drawing foot as a nightmare. I would do everything in my power so I didn't have to draw it. Good old times. Knowing how to simplify and get used to the shape of both legs and feet helps tremendously. This tutorial will cover everything from simplified leg and foot shapes, the muscles, differences between the sexes and ages, posing tips to step-by-step drawing. Let's go! Artistically, an ideal human figure is 8 heads tall with legs a bit more than half body length. The thigh and lower leg are of the same length. The measurement for the upper leg starts from slightly above the groin area. The calf makes up about 2/3 of the lower leg. By the way, legs aren't straight when seen from the side. The lower leg is a bit angled and the knees rounded shape a bit prominent. Leg has a ton of muscles and certain movements cause muscles to contract. If you're familiar with leg workouts, you might have known which movement uses what muscles. We can improve how the legs look in certain poses by knowing which muscles contract and which don't. When the muscles are relaxed, it could change shapes to a certain degree. Imagine putting a pressure on top of a square object and it pops horizontally. Legs are the same way. Certain poses can put pressure on some leg parts and change its shape a bit. If you draw poses where parts of the leg are pressed against something, flatten it where the pressure comes from and puff the other sides. Drawing knee can be a bit tricky. Instead of a circle, knee is more of an oval thanks to the muscles and bones connected to the knee itself. Imagine the bones and kneecap when drawing and leave little to no gap between them and the skin. Knee is supposed to be bony. For line art, you can emphasize the knee shape by adding a small curve next to the knee's oval shape. From behind, the knee part is diamond shaped because of the surrounding muscles. Muscle size and fat percentage plays a role in how legs look. The lower the fat percentage and the bigger the muscles, the more defined the leg shape would be. The greatest changes can be seen on the thigh and calf, while the knee and ankle don't change much. Other than muscles, there are differences between the legs of both sexes. Male pelvis is taller and female wider. Female thigh bone is more angled compared to male. Because of the pelvis differences, male hip and rear would look like a square, while the female ones would look like an upside-down heart. Female knees also face a bit inward compared to the male ones. The rear differences also apparent in side view. Children's legs proportions are a bit different from adults. You can see the legs of different ages on your screen. The key to draw the legs of different ages is the ratio of knee size compared to the leg's length. Using the knee size as the measurement unit to measure the lower leg, you can see the proportion differences between the different ages. With the correct proportions, you won't mix up adult, teen, and child legs no matter the illustration size. Baby legs are the most different one. Babies are bow-legged, meaning their legs are curved outwards. Other than that, babies' legs and feet contains a lot of fat. The fat covers the knees and ankle, making the bone shape not visible. Also, the fat causes the legs to puff, and there will be creases, especially around the joints. There's correlation between foot size and height, especially in males after puberty. The ratio of foot size to height is approximately 1 to 6.6. If we use 8 heads tall figure from before, we divide 8 by 6.6 and get 1.2 as the foot size. Once again, it's true for males. Tried and tested in real life by me and friends, men and women of the same height have different foot sizes. Men's feet are bigger. Women's foot size to height ratio I prefer is 1 to 8 at minimum. If we use an 8 heads tall female figure, it means the foot size is equal to the head. With this ratio, a woman's foot is about a quarter of the leg's total height from ankle to hip. 1 to 8 ratio works for children's feet too. The foot can be simplified into 5 parts. The simplification highlights the overall shape of the foot and its movements. Especially works well when you're drawing shoes or socks. The parts are ankle, heel, bridge, and arc, ball of the foot, toes. The ankle has 2 pointed parts. The inner one is higher than the outside. It looks kind of like a roof. For children, the bones look bigger and pop out more than adults. Next, the bridge of the foot isn't flat. There's a raised triangle area from the ankle to the big toe. This impact If you see the simplified image of a human footprint, you might find a familiar curve below the big toe. It's a slightly raised part of the sole called the arc. The overall shape of the sole doesn't resemble a rectangle. It's more of a trapezium or an inverted triangle. Toes are arranged in a slight curve. The big toe has one joint, while the rest of the toes have two. For toes other than big toe, there's a slightly raised area just before the nail. The little toe is a bit bent and round, unlike the rest. Feet have knuckles like hand, but it's less obvious. You can see it above the ball of the foot if you clench the toes. In some cases, you can also see the tendon connecting the toes to the foot. The tendon for the big toe and the tendon for the foretoes are separate. Lastly, baby's foot, just like the leg, has baby fat, meaning the shape of the foot is less pronounced. The toes are often curled up too. When posing the legs aesthetically, there are things that can make legs look more appealing. Asymmetry grabs more attention than symmetry because it looks more dynamic. Instead of standing straight, bend one leg or move it in front or behind the other. Same goes with sitting. Try keeping either the knees or the ankles apart, or keep both apart. Or try making the pelvis, the knees, and the ankles cannot be connected into one straight line. Tilt the knees to one side while the ankles position on the opposite side. In illustrations where only part of the legs appeared, don't cut off the legs at the joints. Cut off the legs either mid-thigh or mid-lower leg. I usually start drawing the legs with stick figure. Separate the legs into 7 parts: pelvis, hip joint, thigh, knee, lower leg, ankle, and foot. After drawing the stick figure, draw simple geometric shapes. Then, using the muscle knowledge from before, finish drawing the legs. As long as you get the muscles and leg parts down, the process of drawing legs is straightforward. When drawing a foot, I like to simplify it using a triangle and draw the toe direction if needed. Then draw the geometric shapes with the sole sketch, even in angles where the sole isn't visible. The key of drawing a foot is the sole. The sole gives you information about the movement of the foot parts and the angle. For the ones with the sole visible, split the sole into 2. Draw the heel and the ball of the foot front and puffed, making them look like a pad. Then draw a C shape for the arc. Next up, separate the toe parts into 2, the big toe and the rest. Then outline the foot. Make the sole part curvy, lower at the heel and the ball of the foot while a bit higher at the arc. Also draw the ankle and the leg if they are depicted. The feet part is done. Next up, the toes. Let's resize it for a bit. We have divided the toe parts into 2. If more than one toe aside from the big toe are visible, sketch those toes. You can mark the joints with curves to make the shape clearer. Outline the toes and draw the nails if visible. The toes are done. Attach the toes to the feet, and the whole thing is done. I hope this tutorial helps you in mastering both legs and bare feet. If you have any burning questions about legs and feet, feel free to leave a comment. I am most active in the comments 24 hours after the video is up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.